what's up guys, it's your girl Glamour Queen Rayo, and I'm back at it again with another video. Today's video is going to be a video on how to build your credit, and it's going to be a two-part series. So this one is going to go over how to build your credit if you're just starting off, and the second part is going to go over how to rebuild your credit if you're already in debt and how to get out of it. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to let everyone and their mother know how to build your credit and how to rebuild your credit. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I have my notebook right here. I jotted down some notes for you guys in what worked for me and my experience and how I have a good credit score now. And so the first thing that we're going to go over is the credit cards that I recommend. But before that, I'm going to give you guys a definition of a secured credit card. A secured credit card is a credit card that you have to make a deposit before you get it. The deposit is to protect the credit card issuer just in case you do not make an on-time payment. So the credit cards that I recommend is the Capital One secured credit card, and I also recommend the Discover credit card. I'm pretty sure that there are more secured credit cards out there, but these are the ones that I recommend, and you guys can also do your research on other secured credit cards and which one will work for you. And so the second thing that we're going to go over is payments. Okay, so it's always good to make an on-time payment and to always pay your entire balance off in full. So we're going to break this down into two categories. But before that, say you got approved for your first credit card. Your credit card limit is $500. You spent $208 of that. And the two categories now is you make your minimum payment. Then the other category is if you make an on-time payment. So you might have an app to, like keep track of how much you're spending, your credit card and stuff like that. And so within that app, there's going to be a section that tells you what your minimum payment is. And that minimum payment is due each month on your due date. And so back to that credit card, your credit card limit is $500. And you spent $208, so your balance is $208. There's only two ways that this payment can go. The first way is you pay off your entire balance on your due date. You do not incur an interest charge or APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate, and you're going to be hearing this a lot with credit cards. And you also do not incur a late payment fee, so meaning, say for instance your credit card is due on the 18th of each month and you paid your entire balance off on your due date, or maybe you paid it the day before the due date, so you do not incur any interest charge or any late payment fee charge. The second way this can go is you paid your minimum payment of $25 and you will incur an interest charge on the balance that you didn't pay. So $208 minus $25, and that total that you have there, you will incur an interest charge on that amount because you did not pay off the entire balance. Then say for instance you made a minimum payment but you made it after your due date. So back again with the due date the 18th, right? And say for instance you paid it on the 22nd. You may incur an interest charge, or you may also incur a late payment fee because you did not make your payment on the due date. And some credit cards, they do not have a grace period. So if you do not pay it on your due date, you're going to incur an interest charge or a late payment fee because you didn't pay it on your due date. So it's always good to do your research on your credit cards or call the credit card company and make sure that you know all the facts and all the information on the credit card that you may have. And so the next thing that we're going to go over is soft inquiries and hard inquiries on your credit report. So soft inquiries are credit checks that are like background checks kind of thing, and it doesn't hurt your score at all. And they do not need permission to do a soft inquiry. A hard inquiry affects your score really, really bad, but it, gets well over time. So a hard inquiry, you do need permission for someone to check that. And it stays on your credit report for up to 2 years. And The next thing that we're going to get into that has to do with this is your oldest credit line and your newest credit line and closing accounts. So if you're new to credit, I mean, you can open up maybe like 2 or 3 credit lines at the same time and it won't affect your score because you're starting from nothing. Whereas if you were rebuilding your credit or you already have credit, it'll hurt your score because you already developed the score and you're now putting in hard inquiry on your report because of that. So when you're starting from 0, credit score of 0, it doesn't really do anything to you. In fact, it doesn't do anything at all. So yeah, your oldest credit line, and you should try and keep your credit lines open. So don't open a credit line that you're gonna plan to close in like 6 months or like a year. It's not good to close an account. It affects your score. So you should also try to open up different lines of credit if you can. Mortgage, auto insurance, student loan, personal loan, credit cards, different lines of credit, so that you have that different kind of history on your credit report, and people are going to be more likely to lend you credit because you have a background history of good credit. So the next thing that we're going to go over is credit card utilization. Credit card utilization. The percentage of credit card utilization that you should have is 30% or below. A lot of people even say 25% because that just keeps you on the safe side. So now, say for instance you have like 5 credit cards and they all total up to $10,000 worth of credit. You should try and keep your credit card utilization at 30% or below. So that means you should have only spent $3,000 or under to keep your credit card utilization at 30%. Or you could have spent maybe $2,500 to keep your credit card utilization at 25%. And the credit card utilization goes above that, then next time that your credit report is checked and your score comes back, it's going to go down because you're using too much of your credit. So the next thing that we're going to go over is delinquent accounts. Delinquent accounts are accounts that are past due, so accounts that you haven't made a minimum payment on. Credit card issuers, they do not report it unless 30 days have passed and you haven't made a minimum payment. And so that pretty much wraps it up on my tips on how to build your credit. And I would like you guys to stay tuned for the second part of this series on how to rebuild your credit. And if you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe to this video, and leave all your questions down below that you may have, and I will be sure to answer your questions. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Last night, one piece of something, she pulled me shirt and then she popped my